Hello everybody and welcome back yet again to another drum playthrough review. Thank you all for tuning in and stopping by. It's great to see you all here. And for everyone who is brand new, hello and welcome. My name is Nick. I'm a drummer and I also play a few other instruments. And the reason why we like to do videos like these is because it is cool for us to take a look at drummers who are better than us, analyze their technique, break it down to a nice easy to digest form, and ultimately use that technique that we've broken down to a nice easy to digest form to learn it, use it to benefit ourselves, and ultimately make ourselves better musicians. And the dude we got today plays for a band that is notorious for some pretty heavy riffage, pretty heavy songs I will say. And apparently they went, I guess, on a little hiatus and then now they've decided to come back. And I think it's going to be definitely interesting. This isn't a band that I've really listened to a lot. I'm not massive in like the deathcore scene or anything like that. I like a lot of deathcore bands, but I'm not like only a deathcore kid. I like a whole lot of other genres of music as well. But this dude, I feel like he's going to have some interesting stuff and it's definitely going to be a cool playthrough. This was a video that they put up about 5 months ago. So the guy we're reviewing today is known as Adam Gray. He plays for the band Texas in July, and this is a playthrough they did of a new song called False Divinity. Now, I'm interested to see what goes on in this playthrough. I have no idea, honestly, what I'm getting into. This is the first time of just me watching it. I'm just going to analyze it live right here with you guys. With a lot of deathcore drummers, it really does depend. I mean, you could get anything from just the classic old school Suicide Silence thing where, you know, you're just playing some like dun 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 dun, you know, riffs, or you could have all the new stuff that's like Lorna Shore, where it's super fast, super technical, insane speeds, and all that stuff. Really, with deathcore, you have no idea what you're getting into. Now, I personally have not really listened to a whole lot of Texas in July, so this is going to be interesting for me to hear what they sound. I might find a new favorite band, you never know. But ultimately, we're going to check this out and we're going to find out exactly what this guy's got for techniques, so that way we can learn it. Before we start though, I check my YouTube analytics as any good creator should, and only about 0.7% of you guys are actually subscribed to the channel. What are you guys doing with your lives? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. We do a lot of fun stuff and a lot of videos just like this on here. We're going to have a lot more fun content coming your way, so stick around. It's going to be a fun journey. All right. So without further ado, ladies and gents, let's jump in and take a look at what Adam Gray has to show us. So this is a studio playthrough as well. So just judging by right now, listening to it, it's setting the mood. I don't know what kind of stuff we're getting into now. Okay, so first thing I'm noticing right now is that he's a heel up player using full leg motion. Oh yeah. This sounds really good. He's definitely got a lot of power. He's beating the crap out of his drum kit. Interesting blasting technique. I'm just going to pause that real quick there. We're just going to break down that blasting technique. What he's doing, if I can find a couple of drumsticks, I don't know if I have some around here. Just 1 second. Actually, you know what? No, we'll do that later with the breakdown. He's doing a switch blasting technique, but instead of doing it in pairs of 3 or 4 like most drummers usually do, he's doing it in 2. I potentially see that could cause some problems just because of how much energy it takes to really just move your arms around that much. But at the same time, that's the style that this guy has made, so I can't particularly say whether or not it's bad if that's kind of what he's developed, because ultimately, whatever style you develop and whatever technique you develop or anything like that, your body's going to adapt to that, and it's going to, you know, obviously, you're going to be able to build your stamina based on the technique that you're using. So I don't want to say personally that it's wrong. It's not really wrong. I wouldn't do it myself, but it's definitely interesting. I will say that for sure. It's definitely very interesting. He's got very good expressiveness with those toms, I will say that for sure. And I like the energy that he puts off with this performance. He's burying that stick too in the snare drum. So one thing too I am noticing with his hand technique, he's keeping a good loose grip on the stick. Very good, excellent stuff. He's using those toms a lot, and I like how that colors the song. It really does do a good job. The feet aren't doing anything too crazy. Very nice and groovy. Ooh, cool. Stick tricks. Those sound great on a record. Obviously, I'm being sarcastic when I say that, but for the video, it looks really cool. Oh, heck yeah, dude. I would want to watch this guy play live. That's some energy he's got going on there. Very cool. Very, very cool. And the ghost notes as well. That's something very nice and tasteful. Got some cool little placement stuff going on there. It sounds very nice and clean.
I have never heard that.
Using a lot of wrist motion, a lot of full arm motion as well. Very good syncopation riff as well. I like that. I like that a lot. That was definitely a very, very energetic performance. I will say that for sure. And there's not a lot of drummers that can match an energy like that, especially in a studio video at that. More than likely, and I'm just going to say that right now, just preface with this, that was probably a one take that he did in the studio, right there. Absolutely nailed it. That was amazing. That was amazing. He definitely put a lot of energy and a lot of his heart and soul into that song, and not a lot of drummers will do that nowadays in a studio performance. They just go in, they play like a machine. That dude was absolutely vibing. You could tell that he makes music to, you know, that he wants to listen to himself. So definitely very cool. Let's go ahead and let's get into the review and let's talk about this guy's technique, because I think that there's a lot of cool stuff we can break down here. Let's go ahead and let's just talk about the obvious that I originally said I was going to talk about, and that would be that blasting technique. What he's doing with a switch blast, and in essence, just to help you guys out a little bit, what a switch blast is when you're using one hand to do part of the blast beat, and then you're switching over to the other hand to do it, to complete the blast beat as well, to complete that section. And it is ultimately a exercise that takes a lot of time to get that coordination down, especially if you have like one hand that drags a little bit. It might cause you some issues because it might not sound as clean, but it is something that you can do as a blast beat that helps with you know, endurance and whatnot. So if you're starting to struggle a little bit just doing like a classic regular old blast beat, if you want to switch over and start doing some switch, that can actually help you to prolong that blast beat and keep that energy going as well. Now, what he was doing was a little bit different. Usually when I see drummers do switch blasts or anything like that, it's usually in 4s or it's in 3s. Mainly for two reasons. The two reasons are that if you do them in 4s, it gives you more time to reset, so that way you can bring your hand over to hit, I just hit the microphone. So you can bring your hand over to hit that other cymbal, not your microphone stand. Don't do that. It just gives you a little bit more time to be able to hit that cymbal, so that way you can stay clean with it. What he was doing was 2s, and that's what's interesting, because you're having to go like that, and that can cause you some issues if you're not fast enough getting over there with your, okay, I need to stop hitting the microphone. That can cause you some issues if you're not fast enough getting over there with your other hand, you know, because if you're just going, that can cause you some issues, because if all of a sudden you can't reach that hand over there, you could drag with that cymbal. It takes a lot of practice though in order to get there. I will say that for sure. Ultimately, it's not something that's terrible. I mean, like it's not going to be detrimental to your technique or anything like that if you're doing them in 2s. It's a little interesting just because you have to be really quick when you do it. Otherwise, you could mess up and cause yourself some problems. But other than, you know, just the blasting technique or anything like that, I personally wouldn't do that, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. He was staying very loose, as we could tell, when he was gripping his stick. He wasn't like death gripping his stick or anything like that. You didn't see any muscular tension or anything like that. You see how when I'm gripping the stick, if I grip it really hard, how there's a lot of tension going on up here? and then as soon as I relax and I'm holding it in a little bit more of a looser grip, that goes away. We didn't see any of that tension or anything like that in there. We saw it was a very nice loose grip. He kept his fingers like this. It was very nice and good, clean technique for as far as his wrist was concerned. It was a very good playthrough, and it was a very good demonstration of nice and loose technique, as well as very focused technique as well. You could tell too when he was going and doing stuff with the ghost notes, he was just keeping really nice and relaxed. He had his eyes closed when he was doing it, which ultimately shows that he was very concentrated on what he was doing, and also muscle memory. Practice your syncopation riffs because those will benefit you, especially if you're going into the metal genres or anything like that. There's a lot of syncopation that goes on in metal genres. It's very prevalent, especially in the modern day, like deathcore, metalcore kind of scene. This is something that he had been practicing for a long time prior before entering into the studio. So anytime that you're about to do any studio work or anything like that, as far as drumming is concerned, or even other instruments as well, take time and practice before you get to the studio. That's an imperative. And I say this also as a sound engineer and an audio engineer myself. It is way easier if I'm dealing with musicians who have practiced first before coming into the studio, because they have what they're, working on already practiced and down and all that stuff. So they can just get in, do a couple of takes, find that perfect take so that way we can use it on the record, and then boom, there we go. If I'm dealing with a drummer that has not practiced anything, or if I'm dealing with another musician that doesn't practice at all and just kind of shows up on that day and it's just like, oh man, I'm forgetting it, I've got to refresh all the riffs and all that, we're going to be there all day. Because at the end of the day, you're going to have to take more time to practice. You're going to be wasting more of my time as the engineer. Unless I get paid hourly, then it's not really a waste of my time. It's more of a waste of your label's time, or if you're self-funding it, your own money. But it just causes all sorts of issues, because it causes things to take way longer in the studio, and you don't want that. So ultimately, practice before you go into your studio sessions or anything like that. It's going to benefit you more than anybody else. It'll save you time, it'll save you money, it'll save your audio engineer a lot of headache, because then he doesn't have to sit there and listen to you take it 50, 60 times plus in order to get that take that sounds just right. So yeah, man, what an excellent playthrough by this guy, Adam Gray. That's a very good playthrough. I like the energy that he put out. He was vibing out. He had a lot of great power, a lot of good speed as well. Very nice and useful, very tasteful. He didn't go overboard with like one technique and just do blast beats the entire time. He kept it really nice and tasteful and mixed it up, and I like that. That's something that's very good. And with all that being said, y'all, that's going to be the end of this playthrough review. So thanks for tuning in and stopping by. Let me know what your thoughts are down below of Adam's playthrough in the comments section. Don't forget to like, share, and comment and all that other good stuff, and to subscribe because we got more videos like this coming down the pipe soon. Don't forget to check out the other videos on my channel, and with all that being said, that's the end of this one. So thank you guys for tuning in and stopping by. It's great to have y'all here, and I will see you guys in the next video. So cheers, and have a good one.